Songwriter, when he penned the words of the song Stand By Me, he said, I know the storms of life will keep on raging, and if you love me, Lord, stand by me. So we know that there are many storms in this life, and we're just asking God he will stand by us. We have Hurricane Ida, we have the humanitarian crisis in Afghanistan, we have COVID, the Delta variant. We just have so much coming at us, but we're here because of God's grace and mercy. And I pray that we will not misuse the time that he's given us, but we will take the time and be purposeful in terms of our actions and what we do from day to day. And so I'm just grateful and thankful for this day that the Lord has made, and I ask that we all might have a heart to rejoice and be glad in it, and to reach out to those who are less fortunate, and to do all that we are able to do while we're yet living. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Chairman Dean is in a meeting and will be a few minutes late, so Florence, if you want to get started.
Yes, sir. First, we'll go over our attendees today. We'll hear first from Christy Thornton with City County EMA, then Sheriff Derek Cunningham, Grant Manager Regina Walker, Finance Director Cheryl Thomas, Director of Information Systems Rodney Smith, Director of Risk Management Holly Leverett, Manager of Public Affairs Hannah Hawk, Dr. Dee Bennett, and Ms. Monica Anderson with Short the Squirrel Literacy Initiative. Christy.
Good morning. Just an update and report on our numbers. I've already emailed out the situation report this morning, which each of you get at least 3 times a week. We're up to 31,257 COVID cases. That is an additional 766 from Friday. We're at a death rate of 2.04 from confirmed COVID cases. We started trying to compare our year previously, so pre-vaccine versus post-vaccine in the same timeline. So this from August 11th till today's date, there's been an additional 16.57% from 2020, and as of the same dates in 21, we're at 15.53%. So the percentage is starting to increase pretty significantly again, or it's starting to climb up. Our vaccine rates right now for people that have completed their vaccination series is 34.58%, or 78,313 people that are completely vaccinated of our current population. 104,281, or 46.04%, have at least taken their first dose. We did provide you with a breakdown of age. I know that was asked last time, so we have it by age, race, and sex. Our 0 to 17-year-olds have received 6,800, or 6.28% of the total vaccine that's been distributed. 18 to 29-year-olds have received 12.44%. 30 to 49 have received 27%. 50 to 64 is right at 27%. 65 to 74-year-olds is 16.19%. And our over 75 received 10.55% of those total vaccinations.
What was the overall number?
Our total number of people vaccinated completely is 78,313.
Percentage.
Total vaccinated, 34.58%.
Okay.
Receiving at least 1 dose, we're at 46.04.
Yeah, I noticed that the state's offering incentives, gift cards for people to get vaccinated. I wonder if they got that cleared through the state auditors. They told us we couldn't. Just a comment.
Yes, sir, that's from the College Association. I know they're sitting there making those vaccine efforts. There are several places around the state and counties and country that are making some incentive efforts towards vaccinations. We've had our partnership with Partners in Health, where they are providing the gift cards for people that are getting vaccinated for different events. I know you were questioning why we weren't doing max vaccination clinics, so we have amplified those efforts, and in the next less than a month, we have 10 different vaccine efforts. Last week, we were in the county jail again, doing a vaccine, almost 100 people, I think it was 86 exactly. 85 were inmates and 1 more personnel that were vaccinated last week. We're working out in the county. We've got Beulah Primitive Baptist Church out near Lowndes County that we're helping get vaccinated also. There have been 209 in our school system that has been reported that are of school age that are COVID-19 cases in the last 14 days.
And we got, last count, 7 schools closed.
Yes, sir.
And see, my effort, I was frustrated. My effort was frustrated to try to get school-age kids vaccinated before a school started by offering incentives to have them take the shot. And that was not well received by some, and it never happened. But I noticed at the University of Alabama and at Auburn and at other universities, they're doing that, exactly that, offering a little bit more than I was offering to do. So we just got to get together as a state on how we're going to get serious and approach this matter. People would say it's a shame you have to offer incentives. The real shame is the disinformation that people are spreading and discouraging people when it comes to being vaccinated and getting it. That's the disgrace, and that's the problem for me. Our charge is to make sure that as many people as we can are protected from this deadly virus. So, that's just a comment from my part. It's frustrating living in a state that tends to take the backward direction on almost everything. If it wasn't for Mississippi, we'd be at the bottom of this. It's just a shame. It's shameful that we would call ourselves forward-thinking and forward-moving when we're at the back of everything instead of being out front. It's frustrating, really.
It absolutely is, sir.
Try to lead in this state.
We were reached out to by Ms. Tonda West of Praise and Worship Church for us to come out and provide vaccines at the local football games where both schools participating in the football game were from Montgomery. And we had volunteers out there just trying to make sure everybody knew where we were, and they were accosted and attacked and just verbally cussed out just because we were out there trying to make it accessible. We're not trying to force the vaccine into anyone's arm, but we do try to make it every effort. We've had people say that we're not here and we're not there, but I'm pretty sure every Winn-Dixie, Walmart, CVS, and Walgreens has the vaccine available. And so we're, again, just trying to bring it to the community as much as we can. And when we're getting verbally attacked, it really makes for a hard day.
What football game was that?
That was at the Lee and JD game.
Well, I'm not criticizing your effort.
Oh, I know.
It's elected officials. It's officials that are saying things and doing things that's getting in the way of really dealing with this problem, instead of doing everything possible to move it forward. Surely you have a right not to take the vaccination, but there's absolutely no right to expose another person to a deadly virus. There's no right to that.
Well, we're even, through the Mayor's Task Force, I know that Commissioner Sankey's on it, had communication last week with the schools. We're trying to work on different efforts to include the schools, to, even if it means bringing it to it with a parent signature or permission slip, just like a field trip, for them to be vaccinated. We're trying to make every effort, again, to make it as accessible as possible.
All right.
Now we'll go over the items to be discussed during the formal session. We'll first have a public hearing regarding an alcohol license application for a special event on September 18th and 19th for the Latino Festival. Presentation of the proposed 2021-2022 operating budget, construction programs fund budget, and the Emergency Management Communications District Board budget. Consider an alcohol license application for the Latino Festival for special events September 18th and 19th. Consider amendment number 2 to a contract with Borden Dairy of Alabama for milk and juice products for the youth facility. Consider amendment number 1 to the contract with the Bridge to manage and operate the Davis Transitions Program for the youth facility juvenile court. Consider amendment number 2 to Foley Products Company for concrete pipe for engineering. Consider renewal amendment to Income Works software license agreement with Assessment Advisors LLC for a web-based software for the appraisal department. Consider a contract for GAMA Web with Keep Consulting Services regarding GIS software for the appraisal department. Consider renewal of software maintenance agreement with Environmental Systems Research Institute for GIS and cadastral mapping for the appraisal department. Consider renewal of Pictometry Connect Custom Access License Agreement with Pictometry International Corporation for the appraisal department. Consider an agreement with Pictometry for aerial photography for the appraisal department. Consider to recognize and deny a claim regarding Crystal Mendoza for the county commission. Consider miscellaneous appropriations to agencies. Does anyone have anything to add?
I want to add $1,000 from Nami, for the Nami walk. That should bring that total to 3,000. Is that right? Where we at with it?
I'm sorry.
That should bring the total to?
Your total individually, because I added some.
I mean, what?
Yeah, I added some.
I'm trying to get the 3,000 based on adding to what you and Doug have done.
For,
Okay.
for
I don't know where
Nami?
we are.
So I think Doug did 15 and you did 5,
Uh-huh,
and I'm doing 1,000. That brings it to 3,000.
okay.
Does anyone else have anything to add to miscellaneous appropriations? Consider miscellaneous appropriations to education. Any additions there?
Now, we do know it's got to be gone,
Yeah, I'm going to do,
Next meeting.
your next meeting.
let me do, let me, just for now, 2,000 to Brewtech, 2,000 to Brubaker Middle,
all yours, well, you're not all of them.
2,000 Brubaker Middle,
I ain't got much left.
2,000 to Brubaker Primary, 2,000 to Danley Elementary, 2,000 to Peter Crunk Elementary, and 2,000 to Von Road Elementary. That's what, I'll try to get the rest of it done next.
Consider miscellaneous appropriations from designated revenue. We have 2 additions, one from Commissioner Walker for $750 to Women in Training, and from Commissioner Singleton, $1,000 to Brantwood Children's Home. Are there any other additions from designated revenue?
I want to do 1,000 to Brentwood Children's Home, and I want to do 20 to Community Action.
20,
$20, not $20.
any others?
Go ahead.
I was just wondering if anyone was in the audience from Alabama Federation for the Blind. No? Okay, thank you.
I want to do 5,000 to the STEP Foundation.
Are there any others? Consider budget change request number 1 for the appraisal department. Consider budget change requests number 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13 for county commission appropriations. Consider budget change request number 9 for the engineering department. Consider budget change request number 3 for the youth facility detention. Consider a position fill request for the county commission for the manager of public affairs. Consider position fill request for the detention facility for a corrections officer trainee and a corrections officer corporal. Consider position fill request for the engineering department for a county road equipment operator 1 and county road equipment operator 2. Consider position fill request for the probate judge's office for an administrative support specialist and a customer service clerk. Consider position fill request for the sheriff's office for 2 deputy sheriff trainees, a public safety communications dispatcher. Consider a position fill request for the district attorney's office for a receptionist secretary. Consider travel training requests for engineering, finance, risk management, and the sheriff. That's all those items. Now we will hear from Sheriff Cunningham.
Good morning. Y'all can do better than that. Good morning. Good morning. I done walked all the way up and down them steps. Yes, sir. Yeah. Glad to be here. All right.
You know what you're here for?
He doesn't know.
I'm just smiling.
Somebody help this man.
Oh, I feel so
believe
good to be
I
instead of
Why
here.
he's here.
I'm just
Item
smiling.
Number 18 is a request for funding for the 2021 Nami Walk.
Oh, yeah. I heard Dan and Doug and Rhonda gave. I appreciate y'all. You know, we've been doing that walk for some years and helps generate money for Nami. And we really do thank you all for doing that because you know what mental illness is doing to our community right now. So thank y'all.
When is the walk?
October 9th. I'll be looking for you. Yeah.
Florence, I must have missed that when they were
What
doing
time?
that. I was anticipating
We normally start early, about
1,000 out of my
about 8.
donated revenue.
Okay,
right.
thank you. Appreciate you, Elton.
Yes, sir. 1,000 for me, Florence.
Whoa,
You know,
I'm finna go outside and cry.
Because I am concerned about the services and access to the services that Nami provide. I was over there not too long ago on some issues regarding assistance, and I'm
Yes.
not always certain that they're actually reaching out in a manner that they should be, but I do support the concept.
Well, we need to get more family members that have, family members that suffer with mental illness to start going to some of those meetings. I think it's a stigma that a lot of people do with all the other medical conditions that we deal with that, you know, less said, best said, or don't nobody know about it. I think we really need to be able to talk about it. If you can talk about it with somebody, it helps because then you'll know when that crisis mode comes, you'll know how to handle that situation, or you'll have some peer support people that you can pick up the telephone and call and say, hey, I need some assistance with this, and they'll be able to talk you out and help you walk that walk because they've been down that path. And so we got to really start getting the people in our community to start going to some of these support groups. And I ain't talking about the actual patient, I'm talking about the caregivers, because they don't know what to do. And the last result that they try to do is come down and put them in jail. And jail ain't the place for them when they're acting out. They need to go ahead and get them their medications when they come off their meds and they start seeing that crisis about to take place. Because they know it, they live with them every day. What else I got there, Florence? That was it.
That's it.
Well, since I'm standing up here, I want to tell everybody, don't forget about next Tuesday, we'll have our senior fishing rodeo. We'll be starting at 6 o'clock in the morning, so I'll be looking for y'all. Y'all come on out, catch some catfish, just bring them, whatever you want to catch. Hey, I'm happy, as long as you're out there. We'll have a great time. We're going to be at the County Ponds off of 231, right across from Sweet Creek Cafe, so you can't miss us. Thank y'all.
Regina Walker.
Good morning. I think I'm here for it's for the Deca Grant, but right, Florence?
What we use that money for?
This particular grant would be used for MDTs for our cars, to put modems in our patrol cars.
Pardon?
We're replacing, upgrading the modems in the patrol cars.
Motors?
Modems, computers.
Modems. Oh. But you only get 30 something?
We probably can get roughly 22 modems with this, and the rest we will use other funding sources.
Regina, how does that promote safe neighborhoods? I mean, I'm just looking at the title of the grant, Project Safe Neighborhood. How does that, the motors in the cars help with that?
Thank you. You saw me take my mask.
The modems are the air cards that allows them to be able to pull up stuff in the cars. And with the modems, they can be at your house, and they can do your reports, they can do everything. That promotes safe neighborhoods because then they ain't got to pick up the radio, they ain't got to call. They want to know if you got a warrant, if you got this or you got whatever, they can pull it up in the cars without having to do anything else.
I was just thinking in terms of making neighborhoods safer. I don't.
Well, that makes neighborhoods safer because when I come out to your house and we got to do a report, I know who you gave as your suspect. I know who you are. I know everything about you by being able to pull it up in that car. And that's keeping not only the officer safe, but you safe. If you tell me that you live right there, I can pull it up in that computer and I can tell if we've been to your house, if you've been arrested. They can do everything from their car. And that's keeping the community safe because they got everything in their car without having to go anywhere, or have to sit back and say, like we used to in the past, say, we'll be back out. You ain't got to go back out. We can get to it right then. It's called being able to get all that information right there at your hands.
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Thank you, Regina.
Oh, that's why I'm sitting back here.
So can that go on the next agenda?
Yes, ma'am.
Next, we'll hear from Finance Director Cheryl Thomas. Items 2, 3, and 4.
I've got, which one's number 2?
The operating budget and construction program fund budget.
I think I present that at the formal, right?
I believe you do.
Just making sure. The other 2 items, I've got 2 requests to start new hires at, other than the first step. First is a buyer 1. We hired someone, offered the job, they're coming to work. We'd like to offer them a little bit more. This promotion, more responsibility, and the cost is about $2,000. That was a job we actually had to re-advertise, and so I request that you allow us to do that, send it to personnel.
You know, to the commission, are we feeling good about what our starting pay is in the county? I was reading where restaurants and hospitality places are raising their salaries and stuff and to get people to work. You know, like I say, minimum wage just won't get it for somebody. I mean, I guess, and the food stamps with it still don't help them. So, are we satisfied with what our starting pay is across the board?
Didn't we
Dan,
just
I
do
know
a
you
pay,
wasn't
didn't we just do a pay study? Yes, no, the numbers you're looking right here are current. This is what they would start now, but October 1, you know, we did implement the pay plan. That's in the budget, was a very significant increase. Admin salaries are going up 10% above this number.
Sharon, I know we were way below where I thought we should be, but I haven't really had a chance to look at what it's going to be like after October 1st. I know that we did 3%, and under the plan that we adopted, I think the lowest raise was right at 15%, the lowest one.
Corrections and the sheriff, they were both right around another 11%. Admin, another 10% over the 3%, and then service maintenance was 15. right at 15 over and above that 3%.
Yeah, and I haven't had a chance to look and see what effect that had on the people who were making $8 an hour, $8 and $9 an hour. We shouldn't be paying $8, $9 an hour on any job for the county. And so I haven't looked at it yet to see.
I think
but
it gets
we're
every
closer.
position above, I don't think we had anybody at 8 or 9, except for
I was told-
temporary.
I was told that.
We have temporary
Maybe we didn't, but
workers.
I was told that. But I'll see for sure and know where we are. But my goal is to make sure that everybody that works for the county makes a living wage.
Well, I think the pay plan's going to go a long way towards that. It's a pretty significant, increase.
Sheriff, who are those workers that make, you say $9 were about the minimum?
Well, we have a
what the-
temporary, we just raised, I believe it was just our temporary summer workers, that we increased that from minimum wage to $9 this summer.
But for permanent workers?
Permanent
what's the
workers,
minimum?
I don't have the pay plan in front of me, but I think even the minimum before was $12 an hour, and those all went up.
I know that this American Rescue Plan Act allows for premium pay for those, for those individuals that may be at a low pay scale. I don't know if the chairman had that in mind when he asked the question. I don't want to, but there are some provisions by the Department of Treasury that comes from the American Rescue Plan Act that certainly allows premium pay. You can make up to, in addition to your regular salary, of course, $13 per hour for a maximum of $25,000. I don't know if that's something we're going to be thinking about down the road, but it can certainly happen.
That is specific to the American Rescue Plan. Some municipalities have done lump sum payments. It's a little similar to what we did with hazardous duty under the CARES Act, but it's very, there's a lot of questions about actually who you can give that to, so.
Yes, thank you.
So, next agenda on the buyer one. And then the other position is account clerk in the finance department. We have actually, the new hire started today. She's coming from the city, and I would like to start her at a step 2 so she doesn't have to backtrack on her wages. It's approximate cost of $1,300, and I can cover it in the budget.
She's coming in as what clerk?
Account clerk. She's an account clerk, and I'm just asking to start her at a step 2, which is about a $1,300 increase to the budget.
Anybody got a problem with that? Okay, next agenda.
Thank you.
Sure. I was just waiting. I wanted to ask about the budget change request.
Okay, I meant to mention something about those. All those budget change requests that I have in there, we're coming up on the year end. Some are ones that I've just had to get the budgets in there for debt and other things covering, and then I'll have several more next meeting that will just go straight to the agenda.
Number 8, budget change request number 8. I was just curious, CC Sarah, is that county commission? On budget change?
I don't have it in front of me. Yes.
I was just wondering about the decrease of $3,434. Just curious about that.
Which account is it decreasing?
It says CC salaries, is that county commission? At the very-
Right, that's just a reallocate, I just use those salaries. There was extra in that budget, and I just use those salaries to move it. I believe I'm moving it to elected officials or fixed.
She's cutting your salary, Isaiah.
Well, I was curious about that, Commissioner.
And part of that was just reallocating because y'all had a changeover during last year with fixed allowances and your salaries, so part of it was just realigning. No, I'm not going to cut your salary any.
I was just curious about the negative number, that's all.
It was just, I was able to cover it within that fund.
Yes, ma'am. And one other question, Mr. Chairman, if I may. The Board of Registrars, we pay, I saw a significant dollar amount there. All of that, whatever responsibility they have over there is covered by the county commission of Montgomery County?
Well, there's 3 registrars in the state of Alabama. I think the total pay is $115 a day. The state of Alabama pays $80 of that. So of the registrars, now the rest of the budget, yes, we fund that.
The staff budget.
So some people have started to be concerned. I know they have taken it up at the Association of County Commission, the Alabama Association of County Commission, Sonny Bradfield. The minority committee is concerned about the lack of African-American representation with the Board of Registrars, particularly in counties where the population, African-American population is significant. And so they're wondering why is the county funding these salaries when they don't have anything to do with the appointments of these individuals?
I really can't answer
It's
that.
state law.
That
You
might
would
be
have
why
to
we
take it
fund
up.
a small
The
amount.
legislature designed it, and a few years ago, Secretary of State Merrill put together a working group to study the process as it is now, which is the governor gets an appointment, the Commissioner of Agriculture gets an appointment, and
The auditor, state auditor.
the state auditor, is that the third one, gets an appointment to every county board of registrar. And there was a very, a statewide diverse group that studied it. Myself and Tiffany McCord both served on that, amongst a lot of other folks. And at the end of the day, no one could reach an agreement on how that should be changed or if it should be changed. So the state, that's who you need to take it up with. So you would need to go to those elected officials directly, go to the state legislature. They would need to change that.
So your committee was, it was a legislative committee, a state?
It was pulled together by Secretary of State Merrill. This was probably 4 years ago. I'd have to look back. And it was a statewide, a mixture of probate judges, county commissioners, lay people, and studied it for about a year.
And nobody made it?
Well,
No recommendation came
it
out of
has
it?
to go through the legislature, has to be approved by the legislature,
But
so.
did the recommendation come out of the group? No. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense why the state auditor, the ag commissioner, what they got to do with it?
Well, one thing, yeah, so we'd have to change state law in
I
order
know,
to make
I
that change.
understand
But
that. I
those
understand
three, one thing that happens, and this is a long conversation that we don't have to get into right now, but one thing that happen, if I'm a statewide elected official, if I'm a state auditor, I don't necessarily know somebody in every county. So what the county, generally counties need to do is be more aggressive identifying qualified people to do it and taking those names to those elected officials. Sometimes they just sit and wait to hear from people, to get some nominations, and then they just take whoever they, get.
To do it and taking those names to those elected officials.
Anyway, that's a state level issue that we would need to lobby
To get some nominations, and then they just take whoever qualified people to
Any
do
other
it
question?
and taking those names to those elected officials. Sometimes they just sit and wait to hear from people.
That's a good question, because we all got the package from, when asking us to step up our.
Somebody's gotta turn me off. Who's got me on?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dan.
I think we all got some paperwork regarding, is there anybody here from the elector's office to speak on that today? Anyway, we got something, and I do have some questions in terms of what's going to be the bottom line effect on us, on our budget, with the request that they're making before we can move forward on it. So we're going to have some kind of discussion on that, some kind of clarification, because I couldn't get it. The way it was written, I couldn't understand how much of an increase they were asking us to do. Were they asking us to foot the whole bill? Or were they asking us, what Cheryl just said, I didn't realize that we were only paying 30-something of the 105.
Yeah.
But it seems like the bottom line now is they want us to go from whatever we are now to 100 and something. I'm trying to understand that. So I wish somebody from that office ought to come and clarify it. Unless Cheryl, you want to handle that. Did you see-
Commissioner Harris was asking for
Did
clarification.
you see the request from, have you seen the request from, From the board, yeah, you haven't seen it? They're requesting that we take on some more financial responsibilities in financing their office.
Yeah, it says here, our supplement would be $56 per day as of October the 1st.
Right now, it's 35. We already pay for 100% of their operating budget and their employees other than the 3 registrars. So I guess my understanding is they're asking for the registrars for the county to give them more so they're paid.
20 more.
And how much are they asking the state to pay?
I assume the state can still pay 80. I'm not sure.
Yeah, well, they need to ask the state for that money. My mind.
Increased from 60 to 80, I think about 5 years ago.
Pretty soon we have it all.
No, I had not.
And they also want to be part of our healthcare plan, is that correct?
Yeah.
So they seem to be asking for a lot.
Currently, the law allows them to be a part of the healthcare plan if they've served for, I think, over 16 years.
Okay.
Next, we'll hear from Rodney Smith.
So we're not gonna look at that until he comes and explains to us what he wants,
All
right?
right, I'll
Okay.
get him scheduled for the next meeting.
Good morning. I'm presenting a new proposal for our cybersecurity, for our backups, for the network, and all of our servers. It's real important at this point that since we were hacked before in 2017, it's time that we refresh, more modernize what we're doing. And this is going to help us be able to recover like from minutes to hours versus days to weeks compared to our old system. And I'm asking to pay for 3 years up front, which will save us around $71,000 total. And that comes out around $354,000. Our current backup system for the last 3 years has cost us $396,000. So it's a little bit less, and we have a lot more features and functionalities to better protect our data and our resources.
Bottom line, it's gonna make us more secure.
Yes, sir.
That's bottom.
And save us a little money.
Yeah, and save us money at the same time. That's the advantage of looking at refreshing every 3 years, is the fact that it gives you better technology and usually cheaper.
And it allows us to back up by the minute, by the hour, instead of by the
Yes,
day.
yes, we have certain plans for the servers that are very critical, that are very important for the county to do business. We back those up hourly. And then we have different classifications on that. So that allows us to not only, one of the primary things I really love about this new backup system is that it allows us to see anomalies before it actually happens. And as part of that, we'll even have better data governance for like where there's sensitive information out, where it lives out on the servers. It'll give us a better eyesight into like what's actually occurring and what type of data is being stored. And in the event something was compromised, we'll be able to quickly recover. And working with Holly, I think she can even attest to the fact that the cyber security insurance, that we're not even going to be able to renew that. And that's because in today's world, there's no guarantee against stopping an attack. It's how fast can you recover. I think our best insurance policy is to protect our data and be in position should something unfortunately happen, boom, that we could quickly recover from that and get business back up. You
And
know,
this new plan is all in the cloud, correct?
it's a hybrid situation, hybrid.
Explain that to us, please.
All right, even like right now, everything's there's backup appliances that work here. And then we turn around and we take that data, once it's been archived, we archive it in the cloud. So that creates a actual air gap. The other part is that we've kind of like with our new infrastructure we put in place, we back up all of our current servers now every hour to the cloud in the event, and that's a different from what we're proposing here. This is something else we've already implemented when we built the new data center. So now if something happens to our building, period, we can instantly fail over to the cloud. And so we have that for disaster recovery, for physical disaster recovery, but we also will have the other part of the actual backups of the servers themselves and information on that.
And Rodney, I know you've done this, but you've thoroughly vetted the companies that you're proposing that we work with, and you're
Yes.
confident that they are the best of the best?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. I appreciate the work that you do, and this is important. We need to do it. This is where we need to spend our money. If we don't spend it now, we'll be spending it later,
Yeah.
cleaning up a mess. Thank you.
And it may be eligible as an expense under the American
Yes.
Rescue Plan as well. So that'd be something worth looking into.
Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Very good.
Next, we'll hear from Holly Leverett.
She found the salary insurance.
Good morning.
Morning.
So I have got numbers 6 through 11. They're all insurance related. It's insurance renewal time, October 1st. So I'm going to start first with a small market update and saying that this has been the hardest market that insurance brokers have seen in 20 years. There are 4 main reasons for that. Climate change and weather conditions, weather storms, cyber terrorism, as Rodney just mentioned, COVID-19, and political unrest are all causing insurance companies stress. And piggybacking too, normally when insurance companies have a lot of claims that they pay out, they have ways that they can invest money to try and recoup some of those losses. We're in a climate right now where there's not a lot of investment income to have. So that's causing them to increase rates to their clients that they're insuring. So I wanted to just preface that before we go into this. Rodney started me off really well by talking about cyber, because that's the first one I want to talk about. So we got a non-renewal on our cyber insurance from our current carrier. So I have been working with Stark and Gallagher to try to come up with another company that might take us. So late last week, Wednesday or Thursday, we did get 2 companies to offer us quotes. The quote is $38,000, a little over $38,000, which is double what we have been paying. That is not unusual. There are a lot of companies that couldn't even get quotes. So I was very happy that we were able to even get it. So I am going to recommend that that one be put on the agenda for approval, because I think, as Rodney can attest, that is a coverage that we need. There are, nowadays, when there is a ransomware attack, it's not unheard of for there to be a 6-figure demand before they release money or release the data back to us. So this will help us in the event that something happens. And we do get targeted. As a public entity, we're targeted a lot because we have a lot of people that have access and email accounts that can get hit.
Holly, I totally agree. We definitely need this coverage. It's pay now, pay later. But I just had a question because I couldn't see it. The one that was non-renewed, did it have the same limits?
Yes.
As the one that we had?
As the one I'm recommending. The one that was just a couple of $100 lower, it did not have the same limits. So I'm recommending we go, I want to say it was maybe, it was just a few $100s, maybe $500 higher. And it did have, the ransomware was 800,000 on that one, and this one was $1 million, back to our current
That's what it
limits.
was, me. We got
So-
$1 million on most of the coverages,
Yes.
38,000.
And it is in the budget because I planned for this when I budgeted, and I planned for higher liability limits. If I have to do a small budget change to move some money around, it will be covered in our budget.
No, I agree with what Rodney has said and what you've said. These things are needed. It was a part of the problem before, trying to save money, trying to pinch. If it's what we need, you found it, we can afford it, we need to buy it. And if it's being recommended, I don't have any objection.
The next item I'm going to move to is the employee group life
Next agenda,
insurance. We took that out to market to 12 carriers, and we ended up with 7 quotes and 4 declinations. The lower rate came back to MetLife this year at $60,119. This is a 17% increase over last 3-year term. That is because our population at Montgomery County is higher. Our average age is around 45 of employees, and we've had some losses in the last 3 years. So those things were the things that they looked at. They did agree to give us a 3-year lock-in rate at the $60,000 rate if we would agree to offer a voluntary guaranteed life policy to our employees at open enrollment. It's nothing for us, it's just if they want it, they can take it. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. So we are going to look at offering that with this if you all approve it. They'll get a open enrollment form for this that'll have the rates on it. All they'll have to do is just pick it if they want it. If they don't want it, they don't have to take it.
Commissioners eligible for that?
They are.
Are they?
They are.
We're the old people.
Yeah. It's
I'm helping bring down the average.
so the guaranteed would be $150,000 for employees, guaranteed, no health questions, at a set rate, and then they can get insurance for their spouses and dependents as well. So to be able to lock in a guaranteed rate, I thought that was good for 3 years.
So Holly, you, with all the insurance coverages that we need and that you're recommending, you still take the position that the Association of County Commissions couldn't help us save any money by the collective buying power that they have?
No, because those policies that while they are cheaper for the employees on premiums, they don't offer the kind of rich benefits that our benefits offer. There aren't very many policies out there that once you meet your deductible of $300 or $900 will pay 100%. The ACCA local gov health does not even come close to that. So I think it would be in the best interest of our employees to stay where we are and self-fund it that way.
Thank you.
So that's the group life.
And so that can go to the next agenda.
Man, we can.
The next one is the medical stop-loss insurance. This is insurance basically for once an employee may have a catastrophic health crisis, and once we reach a certain point, this insurance would pick up over that. We did remarket it to 16 carriers. Only one other carrier wanted to quote it, but the quote still came back lowest with our current carrier, Optum. It is $248,607. That is a 14% increase However, if we go with Optum, they are estimating we will get a refund of $21,700 back. That makes it only a overall 4.3% increase to stay with them.
That's the excess liability?
That's the excess health liability.
So it's, we retain $750,000 with the liability?
I think our limit there is $275,000. So anything over the 275, they would pick up.
That's not what I'm looking at. It says,
Oh, you're looking at the excess liability.
yeah, excess.
Yeah, this is excess health.
Oh, excess, yeah.
It's item, I think, 6 or 7.
Which one is it? You talking workers' comp?
No, this one is, it should be on your screen. This,
I can't see that far. Trying to pull this up.
This one's number 7.
7, okay.
This is the medical stop loss for health.
Oh, yeah. So
We've been with Optum a long time. They've been pretty good to us.
275. All right. I don't have it. I don't have it.
Okay.
So this can go on the next
Yes,
agenda.
ma'am.
Okay, then the next one is the excess workers' comp. This, we remarketed this to several carriers. This group of carriers, the market's just not real strong like the other markets are. There aren't but maybe 3 or 4 carriers that even write workers' comp excess anymore. So that makes it difficult because there's not a lot of competition. So we have pretty good losses, but carriers have gotten to the point where most carriers want $100,000 minimum earned premium. Last year, we were at 78,273, which was below that 100,000. So our current carrier came back with a quote this year of 166,000, which was more than double. But by remarketing it, I was able to get us, with the help of Terry Young with Millennium, was able to get it down to 110,400. So that's just over that $100,000 minimum earned premium that most of these carriers are looking for. The reason that is higher is, like I said, the small number of excess work comp companies, the rising minimum earned premium of $100,000, and the fact that a lot of carriers do not want the liability of law enforcement.
So we are self-insured up to 750,000?
Not on this. This is the excess workers' comp. So we would be, well, you're right. We're self-insured, right, for $750,000 for law enforcement. For all other jobs and positions, it would be $500,000.
Self-insured, and they want $100,000 for everything? How many $500,000 claims have we had?
We have not had any, but
This is-
it only
this
takes
is-
one.
This one here is robbery. Chances of them having a claim are
Almost zero.
zero.
Excuse me for interrupting, but I represented for 32 years, Workers' Compensation Association out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. And as you know, the process is they have a meeting with the legislature and they meet to determine what are the deals. But workers' comp in Alabama, because it is non-jury, very low, like 15% rates for attorneys. So that means you just get young, inexperienced attorneys standing up in Omaha handling these too. Alabama graded the best state for workers' compensation in the nation
Mhm.
those things, so I'm just telling you that my
This is, and this is one, I mean, sounds like we're self-insured for enough to cover anything we might have, but this is one that the ACC might be able to help us on. I
The
don't know if they got-
ACC is there, and their premiums are there to help the smaller counties that don't have access to things like, and
Right.
companies like this. I don't think that they would be able to help us because work comp insurance is a pool. So our good numbers would be helping those counties that have poor numbers,
Yeah.
which would increase our rates
This is-
on the backs of those other counties.
This is a hard, yeah.
And I agree it's hard, I agree it's a lot of money, but I look at that possible quadriplegic that we could have hurt in the line of duty to where we're paying for the rest of that person's life, and you could be talking about millions of dollars.
I mean, I understand our perspective, but when you're rating these things as an insurance company, you base it on experience.
Yeah,
And if you're looking at our experience, and, you know, we're retaining 500,000, way less than what we've actually ever had a claim on recently. I don't know how far back we can go.
I can go to 85, we never had one.
the two other quotes we got were up, one was 166 and the other was 140.
Yeah,
That's claims.
No, that's our rate for
that's
premium.
premium rate.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's a premium rate.
110 was the lowest
You know,
premium
and-
rate we
and
got.
I think what we ought to do, I'm not saying that we shouldn't buy it this time, but what we need to do is just do a study on what these claims have been. You
I
know,
can pull that
and-
information
and-
together.
And what the premiums have been.
Mhm.
You know, and then, you know, if you had a claim that big, you can just do the math.
Well, we can look
probably would
at,
have enough money saved in whatever reserve we have on the
Mm-hmm.
self-insured part to pay out all these claims. This insurance company is robbing. This workers' comp stuff, you know, if you don't have it's obviously it's not based on experience. on
well,
our
it's
experience.
based on experience, but it's also based on the insurance company's appetites. And
Then
they
what-
don't want small premium dollars right now, which is, so basically they want to force small companies like us away from using them and have us go 100% self-insured. And we can look at that. I can put together some numbers and all.
I think we need to just do a study on it. I mean, you know, what's the,
Me, I had about 25 years ago, if you go back and check, we did a study as to the self-insured part of workers' comp. I think that study came out that it would be far cheaper to self-insure all the way up. I can't recall a payout on a claim since 1985, since I've been represented, for anything over 100, 150. There may have been one, but normally they range below 100, and that was the reason for the recommendation back then.
and they have a hard time getting that 150.
Yeah, yeah.
You know.
Well, I know we've got one right now that we're still paying a check every 2 weeks and we will for the rest of his life.
We'll move on with it, but you heard the concerns, so we need to dig a little deeper. to see.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So we'll approve it this year and then look at us doing a study next year. The next one is our excess liability insurance. This one came back with a 4.5% rate increase, which was very, very good, especially when other carriers were seeing 20 to 25% increases, or other companies. So this premium for this renewal will be $230,112. We did remarket this policy, which I feel like is one reason we got such a good premium from our current carrier, is because they knew they were being competed against.
Okay.
So the other rate was $263,000.
That's the next agenda.
Okay.
And then our final one is for our property insurance. This one as well has, because of storms and all, we're seeing increases of 20 to 25% across the board. This renewal for us was 18.5, which was a little lower than the norm. So I am recommending this one be put on the agenda for renewal as well. It is with Affiliated FM. It's with our current company, and the premium is $196,378.
That's number 11, right?
This is 11, that's right.
Okay, property insurance, next agenda.
Yeah. And all of these were I prepared for in the budget. I had been in contact and knew that these rates were going to go up, so they were all budgeted amounts.
So do you have a total of all that?
I can get it to you and email it out to you, how much we're spending.
Okay. All of it's been budgeted? Okay.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Good job, well done all the time.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, we just move what we got.
Hannah Hawk.
Good morning. You have your calendars in front of you. I also wanted to bring to your attention, we've created an open records request policy, basically to create a uniform policy for the county. I'm going to call on the sheriff real quick, just stating that he brought it to light to me that we did not have a policy in place, and so this will just help the county with that. And then I'm going to turn this on. And the policy will be on our new iCompass. Oh dear, I don't know if this is going to work. So I was going to go over that real quick on here, and you can change it to lectern. There we go. It's going to pop up. So this is our new meeting portal. You all have been using it for a bit, but now it has been open now to the public. And so really it's just a great place for people to go to help with transparency, to see exactly what you all are discussing and voting on and meeting about. And so the open records request policy will live on there right here at the open records request. And then, of course, people can see all the different meetings and videos, and wanted to bring to light for you all, if you would like to subscribe to the meetings, you can do that as well, and then you will get an email with the agendas sent straight to you as soon as they're published. That's it.
So is it,
So this is going to be located where? On the website or?
Yeah, it's already live on our website, and so people can just go straight to it, and they can, of course, the former reporter nerd in me gets really excited about it, but so you can go and search on there for all the different topics that you all discuss, and see all the formal agendas, anything like that.
Excellent.
Is this your last meeting?
This is not my last meeting. I've got one more meeting.
Catch you on your last meeting.
Yes, sir.
Buy your crystal burger.
That's right.
I have a question, Mr.
Yes.
Chairman. On the, so how often do we get requests?
So we do get some requests. I get a few, hopefully, with this new portal that we'll get even fewer requests because they'll be able to go and search exactly what they're looking for. That is the hope with this. I know that the sheriff gets quite a bit, and so if you want, I don't know if you want to come discuss that.
I was just curious about the $25. That's just an arbitrary figure. Who came up with that, and why do we have to charge the citizens for records that they should have access to? I mean, the paper is not.
It's not charging the citizens. It's about when you send us a request, and it takes one of my employees 2 days to do all the record checks for you, and then that's taking them away from their job. So stuff like that is what we're running into. You know, now most of your open records requests are turning into trying to gain statistical information so companies can write grants, and we're doing all the homework, but at the expense of our employees.
So these are not citizens, ordinary
No.
citizens asking for this?
No,
Okay, all right, well,
no, we
if
get
that's
them
the case,
from
maybe it should-
universities, we get them from everywhere.
Well, maybe
And
it should be
I mean,
more
it's,
than-
it really hurts your agency when you spend more time pulling data instead of doing your job. So we had to come up with something.
I thought it was just the average minimum wage citizen.
Oh,
trying to
no,
get-
But
All right.
even if it were.
Yeah, it's
Even
normally
if it were,
not.
it'd drive you crazy if you didn't have, I mean, the law allows you to charge for copies, and, I mean, access is one thing, but if you gotta work to produce it, the law allows recovery of what it costs you, I guess. I'm not sure specifically, but if you just said, you offered open access, you spend all your time doing nothing but this.
Corporate, I can see, but if a citizen wanted, I don't know.
I haven't had a single system, I mean, I've got media that reaches out, but yeah.
Okay, thank you.
As long as the charge is legal, long as the law allows to charge it, I'm all right with it.
The law has done a lot
I
of
know
things.
how it can be people, I get letters from people asking me for stuff. Throw it in the trash can.
You got something else, Aaron?
I'm good, yes, thank
So
you.
that open,
We got a representative from the Board of Registers now.
can, the open records request, can that go on the next agenda?
Yes, the open records can go on the next agenda. It's on the number 8 after Hannah.
Go back to number 8.
You're done.
Yeah, I just want to make sure.
You're helping them.
What?
Ronald wants somebody to make a presentation.
No, they're on the agenda.
Okay.
I just didn't want them to get skipped over.
Right, we've got 3 other items, and then we can
Number 8 on the presentation.
right,
Let's do number
okay. Can we hear from Short the Squirrel?
Hey, y'all, we know you've been sitting here a long time, and we are going to be just like our name's Short, so we're not going to do the whole thing, but first of all, we want to say hello to the representative from the DA's office.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you for coming.
There's
Mr.
2, there's,
Taylor.
yeah,
Yes, thank you so
Azzy
much.
and Michael.
So this program is based on getting our kids ready to be awesome readers. And this is Dr. D. Bennett. I'm Monica Young, like I used to be. I'm not anymore. But this is our passion project, not our job, and we're so appreciative because Commissioner Walker really gave us some strategic funding last year for this program, and we are so glad to be here. When you talked about Mississippi being so helpful to Alabama in our placement, well, I am excited to tell you that the reason we're here to talk to you today is because Montgomery County is going to be one of our 2 pilot counties for our next volume, which is Short's Money Tree. And so I'm going to kind of skip the history. Actually, I'll give you a sentence. My daughter is an assistant DA, we call her a baby DA, down in Mobile County, and she was coming home saying, Mom, these kids, they come and they sit in the courthouse all day and they don't have anything to do because they can't use electronics. I'm like, oh, we can do an activity sheet for them. She's like, Mom, this is the government. You know how they talk to you when they have an education and all of a sudden they're employed and everything. And I was like, we can do something. And so Dee, who's a professor of education at Troy, and I were talking about it one day, and she's like, oh my goodness, it needs to be a squirrel who's a superhero who lives outside the courthouse, and that's how Short the Squirrel was born. It was meant to be just a one and done, something short in court for the courthouse. It is now morphed into something really terrific that we think has great bones to it to help our kids get excited about reading, because what we believe and what we've discovered is it's not just happening in the courthouse, it's also happening in waiting rooms, that kids are waiting for their adults. And let's keep going. And we want to just have some really great stuff for these kids. So back to Mississippi. Well, it turns out that Alabama is in the top 10 of financial literacy education for the United States because of the Alabama Securities Commission right down the road. And they came to us when they heard about who we are and what we're doing, and they said, how could we do this for the ages you're serving. And so we've done a great partnership with them because, again, we believe waiting time is reading time. So we're going to skip ahead, and actually Dee's going to talk about Short's Money Tree that is being released this week in Montgomery County. So all of your first graders are getting this packet. You guys all, listen, if you're bored up there, you can even do some of the activities in these books. And we've got adult facts in the bottom. It's in Spanish and in English, and we are so excited to bring this again to Montgomery, and then Monroe is the second county. If it goes well, it's going to be released to all the first graders in Alabama in April. And then the exciting part is that the press release that's going out this week is going nationally. So we've been asked by others states to do this, but our philosophy is, hey, sweet home, we're here for the kids of Alabama. Once we get our kids really loving to read like we do, hashtag self-professed nerd, I love it, I love to read, and we want kids to love to read too. So Dee's going to talk to you now.
Thank you, Monica. We were so excited to be approached with... We were so excited.
We're talking to all of y'all.
That's right, because we truly believe that literacy is everyone's job. And by providing consumable materials in places where children have to wait is going to help us as community citizens be engaged in the solution of closing that gap with literacy. But we were so excited to be approached by the Alabama Securities Commission about Short's Money Tree and the fact that we can put into the hands of children an actual interactive booklet that allows them not only to practice their literacy, but also become oriented with financial literacy. We are just celebrated this past February our 1-year mark with a virtual birthday party, which allowed all of the children, and Montgomery County Schools did a great job participating virtually with that. And the birthday party allowed us to help bring awareness with Short the Squirrel and who he is and what he represents in our community of creating reading as a superpower. This next February, February 22nd, we will be launching our second birthday party, and that will be Short's Reading Parade. And it will be centered around a Mardi Gras theme that we have already filmed, again, a virtual opportunity, so all of our children across the state can be a part of this celebration for reading, but we'll also give a preview of the different important places in Mobile. So as Monica mentioned, Short's Money Tree is a pilot that will actually launch this Thursday in Montgomery Public Schools. Every first grade classroom will receive an introductory video. The teachers will receive a complimentary lesson plan tied to the Alabama courses of study that work correlated with the actual activity book, and each child will also receive a money log, which is included with your booklet, so that they can set a goal on something they want to save for and begin recording that as well. Ultimately, after the statewide launch, we want to then provide these financial literacy materials to banks and credit unions if they choose to purchase them and have them in their facilities. Again, waiting time is reading time. Thank you.
So you can see we have big plans. And when you were talking about the need for mental health, Short's Feelings is one of the topics and one of the things we really want to do coming in. We have great big plans for our kids. We've had wonderful support from Governor Ivey, who declared Short as Alabama's literacy mascot. So now, Commissioner Sankey, I hope you can go out and say, you've heard of Short the Squirrel now, and know that we've got this wonderful opportunity for the children. We have super university partnerships. In fact, Short's Money Tree was actually put together, the packets were put together by the tennis teams at Alabama State University, so we were so glad that they were part of our partnership. We're doing a partnership with Alabama. Their PR department has named Short as their capstone project for their PR. If you're familiar with their PR department, here again, it's another place where Alabama ranks high. They're in the top 10 of all university PR departments in the country. And then Auburn's technology department has also picked us up as a capstone project, and they're working on our app because we know where our kids, they are on the screen. So after they get these kits, we hope that they'll go to the app and continue their fun times in literacy with Short. So we have an Iron Bowl goal, and that is when Alabama is reading, everyone is winning. So we're really hoping we can bring our buddies, Aubie and Big Al, together for the Iron Bowl. And we believe that that will be a great opportunity to get kids aware of Short, so they will pick up the Short materials throughout the community. And so our call to action is also our favorite picture that we've ever had made. Look at this little boy's joy when he met Short. And we had another little boy run and grab Short around the middle and say, "Oh, I saw your birthday video, and now I'm reading every night." And that's the whole goal of this, that waiting time is reading time. So please follow us on social media, tell the educators in your life about us, and then consider ways how you can bring Short more into the Montgomery community. And Commissioner Rhonda Walker, we so appreciate your support, and now that all your colleagues know about us, we hope that you'll continue just to love on us and help us grow and help our communities with these children and make it fun to read. So thanks for having us.
We appreciate being here, and we are happy to say we're not asking for money. All of our materials are grant funded. So thank you again for your time.
So you're all in, you're going to be, by April 22, you're going to be in all of the elementary schools?
That's our goal. And those that meet us say we're pretty energetic, so we typically meet our goal.
Yeah. Oh, October 4th, the Capital City Club is having a golf tournament, and this is the crazy story, but I won't go into all the details, but we ended up in the wrong building on the wrong floor, and we met them, and all of a sudden now we're their golf tournament person. So please, participate in the golf tournament. We'd love that. Thank you.
Before you all go, I know you say you grant funded, but the program that you got is so wonderful that I'd like to propose to this body up here that we give you $10,000 out of the donated revenue.
I feel like we're on Ellen. Thank you.
And you say you're making these books available to every elementary school student?
Yes, sir.
in Montgomery
First
County?
grade, every first grade classroom.
Short's money tree, but like Short gets sick, we've got the opportunity to put that in our waiting rooms. It's being piloted in Birmingham right now. That is not in Montgomery. Head Start has also picked it up, but I promise you, every dollar that you just pledged, it goes to the kids.
And we want to make sure that the DA's office has, or LaShondra, whoever need the court, has all the Short in court, additional if they need additional.
So can you connect us?
Okay.
Okay, wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Oh my gosh.
We didn't come asking for anything. We just wanted you to know about it.
Right, especially with all of the schools being able to receive this. So thank you
So
so much.
thank you.
Oh, wow.
Thank you, ladies.
And I think we got the representative from the Board of Registry. We got some questions for you, sir.
Good morning, Buddy Snipes from the Board of Registrar's Office. I just wanted to remind you all this morning that we have an election, a State House election for District 78 between Loretta Grant and Kenyatta Hassel. And because of this, I just came over here this morning to invite y'all to come over to our building and visit and see our new electronic voter registration kiosk. I know we had a press conference on this a week or so ago, but anyway, I just wanted to invite y'all to come over there and see the kiosk, try it out, see how it works. You can look up your voter information, or you can revise your voter registration information. It's connected to the Secretary of State's website, and we have it in our lobby this morning, and we hope to get 6 more placed in college, university campuses around town here in the next 2 to 3 weeks. So that's all I had. Just wanted to invite you to come by, have a cup of coffee. Yes, sir.
Communication from your office regarding a request for an increase in support from the Montgomery County Commission?
Oh, yes, sir. I didn't come over to discuss that, but yes, I was wanting your support to seek legislation to increase the funding of the Montgomery County Board of Registrars.
You're asking the state to increase their portion?
I have not asked the state to, I think it would have to be 2 separate bills. It would have to be a bill to ask the state to raise their funding for registrars statewide. I was just trying to get a local bill from Montgomery County to increase the funding from the funding support from Montgomery County. Anyway, like I said, but if you agreed to help me, support me on that, we still have to get a bill written, and we still have to get it passed in the legislature, so. If you'd like to contact me, after the meeting, get some more information about that, I'd be happy to discuss it with any of y'all. Okay, thank you very much.
We have a couple more items to consider in the information session. We've got amendment number 2 to a contract with Bob Barker Company for hygiene products for the youth facility detention. We have 2 lighting services agreements with Alabama Power to upgrade leased lighting fixtures at Day Street and Terminal Road. What this will involve is they come in and replace the existing lighting with LED lighting, and the monthly fees that we pay actually will go down. The first is 1050 Day Street Road.
Next agenda.
The second is 1800 Terminal Road.
Next agenda.
And I believe that covers all the items for our information session.
Okay, we go right into our formal session. I would like to, I guess this is proper timing. I'd like to recess back into our informal session. Can I do that? Instead of closing this meeting out?
Yeah, I think you can. I don't see any reason. Why not? Just make a motion to do so.
Yeah, I'd like to recess. Recess, and back into our informal session.
Make a motion to recess back into formal session.
Second.
All in
Into the
favor, say
inform-
aye. Okay. And the reason I'm doing this, there's some things that we didn't get a chance to talk about. We need to do some housekeeping as a commission. There's a lot of things we have not talked about. And I think we need to look at, we talked about a work session for an hour. We probably need to look at a work session for longer than an hour, so we can start the meeting on time. So that's up for discussion, group. What you think?
So have our work session from 9 to 10:30?
We, either way.
And then
from
have the
8:30
formal,
from
okay.
I
8:30.
start at 8:30.
Oh, we like this 9 o'clock. Don't we like 9 o'clock? Tuesdays at 9 has just been life-altering.
Hannah, you
See?
you do not have a vote. No, you don't need help. You be gone.
But we could also start on time at 9 is something to think of, because sometimes we're a few minutes after 9. So we could start at 9 sharp. Or, I mean, do you think if we did 9 to 10:15, or is that too oddball of a time?
9 to 10:30.
Yeah, 9 to 10:30.
Yeah, yeah.
Doug, you like earlier?
I like earlier.
You're an early bird.
Yeah, I'm sure we can come to agreement, because there's a lot of things that we are not getting done. It's like when we voted on the Davis treatment, I wanted to ask Ray, and come down, Ray.
We just feel too rushed during our.
Yeah, we feel, we're rushed, we're not asking all the questions. Commissioner Harris had some concerns about Davis treatment. I had some concern about it. So, and we're hearing a lot of things out in the open in the community about what's not happening down there. So we hear 2 different stories, so, we know you're short on employees and stuff, so let us know what you think the problem is down there. What do you need? What do you all need down there?
Well,
We need, raise your right hand, swear to tell the truth, nothing but truth, so help you God.
Yeah, I'll tell you.
All this stuff, we hearing too many different things.
Well, I mean, what kind of problems have you heard that we're having?
Well, fights and people not getting along, it's a lot of things.
Well, I think one of the biggest things,
You know you're short on employees?
well, we're not short,
Oh, you're
right?
not now?
Not now. I mean,
You got
but,
4 people that they hired already?
All right, he's over the,
I know that, but he's down in that facility, so, we hear conflicting stories about that and the Davis treatment.
well, I was where there have been shortages is in the detention facility with those juvenile detention officers. I'm not sure what the status is on filling those positions. I know they've been working with it. But as far as probation officers, I'm not sure how many vacancies there are.
Now it's time out, we hear all the good things. We bring all the good things out to the public. But there are hidden things that are not being said. And I think we are the first one need to know these things. So if you don't have anything that you have no concerns, we don't need to talk to you.
well, as far as the Davis program, we're happy with it because we have seen a significant decrease in committing our children to the Department of Youth Services. I brought Mr. Spurlock, the executive director from Gaston, here to answer any questions that you may have. Yeah, I did, and I'd much rather do that. I know I missed a couple of your calls, and you were out of town. I think we ought to get together and talk about it. A part of the contract, a part of the agreement was that we would receive periodic reports on the progress and what was occurring under that contract. Okay. And I have yet to see one. In other words, the number of individuals that are being served, the type of services that are being delivered, and if you're measuring your results, what kind of results are you experiencing? Those types of things are the type of things that I'm interested in.
Okay. A report has been, since our last meeting, a report was forwarded to Ms. Cauthen for you all.
To who?
Ms. Cauthen.
I forwarded that on to you. It was a one-page summary of their annual report. I can't remember the numbers, but it was sent on.
Okay, I got to refresh myself on the agreement to see how often those reports were supposed to be done. But we'll talk. I'll take a look at the report and then we can talk.
Okay.
If I can, as far as that part you mentioned about not receiving the quarterly reports, that was put in the contract in 2016, and to be honest, we didn't see it. It wasn't like the same contract that we'd had all those other years, and nobody's brought it up since 2016, and we'll be sure you get a quarterly report. That will not.
That's interesting. I bring it up every year.
I mean, we got a contract for $400,000 or $500,000. Nobody in your department saw what was that being asked.
Well, there's yearly reports submitted every year, and then also Ray and them get annual reports and quarterly reports too. We just haven't been sending those reports to you guys, and that's our oversight.
Well, we'd like to see them.
I guarantee you'll have them.
Okay.
Commissioner, just let me know when you want to meet. I said, would you let me know whenever you want to meet? I'll be glad to meet with you.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Anything else?
I think I got your number now.
Okay. Anything else?
The next thing, Rodney came up today talking about, and our risk manager talked about security. And that was very important. But what concerns me is security when we talk about our employees and administration. We had gone without a deputy administrator for some time. And it's always been my philosophy that the second person in line, be somebody that's competent, that can take over when the main person is gone. And that concerns me. I look at, not picking on you, Sheriff, but I look at you, and you got an assistant. You came in under Sandra when I was here, and you walked right in. I'm concerned now that the person behind you, are they ready to walk in behind you? Okay, Rodney, have you got anybody that's going to be able to walk behind you? See, we can't just shut down. This county can't shut down. We got to talk about succession. Who's in charge? Like the other day when we were behind when Spawn's been here by herself, when she's not here, who's in charge? But now we're fixing that. So that brings me to, we've been to lose Hannah, and Hannah's done an outstanding job. And we're going to have somebody that's equivalent to Hannah, or either better than Hannah. So we can't wait to put that out there so we be without. These are things that we got to make sure we do on time. Because, Dan,
But you're going on the right track there, but you should have stayed on Rodney just a little bit longer.
go ahead, that's okay, you can go back
Because,
on.
I mean, because I saw something that kind of bothers me. Maybe he hasn't dropped it yet, but if we still calling him interim, I mean, I need to know why we're doing that. Why haven't?
No, he is, I'm sorry, Rodney, what's your title?
My Lord.
Yes, Senior Technology Manager.
No. The one I saw was interim director of IS.
You saw that today?
He's in a permanent position as the Senior Manager of the IT Department.
What was Lou's position?
It was the Chief Information Technology Officer
So
over
we
the
didn't-
city and the county. And when we split those positions, personnel looked at the job descriptions, and this is the position that was created in lieu of the joint position.
And that position is called what? Because, I mean, the last thing I got said interim, and I'm saying he shouldn't be interim, or whatever he is.
He's not interim.
Okay, but it need to be updated, whatever it needs, so we would know.
Yeah, because, I mean, that was, my concern was, we have him in the job, he's doing the job, and if we should have already determined whether or not he's going to keep the job, and I'm thinking we have. So he shouldn't be.
I don't know where it was
calling
referenced
himself
as interim, but that was a mistake.
Okay, all right, my mistake.
Okay, and, well, like I said, I believe in succession, the right people in line for succession. You know, I have no problem with Derek decide he gonna leave. You got, the other chief right there that's capable of taking charge, very capable. Next thing, I'm moving kind of fast. We talked about risk management, not risk management, but, no, help me out, Dan.
Which one?
Grant writing department. And we talked about that 2 or 3 weeks ago. You know, and job description already out there for grant department or what have you. The city's supposed to be having one, we supposed to have one. We need to move on, and there's money out there. There's money out there. You know, we can't sit on these things. So we need to put that out there. We need to put the public information officer job out there. We need to go, you know, be proactive and do these things. But I do believe in succession, and I hope the rest of you understand where I'm coming from. You know, I get scared when we don't have people in charge, and people are capable of doing the kind of business. We got some very capable people in charge now, but what happens after that if they can't make it to work the next day? So that's my concern. We come in and we do our hour or whatever it is, but I think we kind of be in a hurry too many times and not get stuff done what we're supposed to do. I know the probate judge met me outside telling me that he had a leak out there at the place out there. So how many times that leak been going on out there?
This was related to the air conditioning. It was a clogged line, and they've repaired
How
it.
many leaks they had out there?
But there's been problems with the
air
roof.
conditioning, whether it rain, whatever, how many leaks? I'm just saying those things that we have to put on the top of our priority list. And the preventive maintenance, we be paying so much money now. We got to talk about the 30 million for the jail. We got to do that. We just can't keep putting it off. We got to find ways to make sure it's being done. So we can look back and say we did the right thing, not saying we didn't do it. So, anybody else have that concern? I hope so.
Yeah, well, it's, there is a communication problem. There's a lot of stuff I don't find out until, you know, late. But that, I think that's the main thing. The main thing is communication. We need to know what the issues are, and then, you know, as a group, we need to work together on these things and make specific assignments to people to follow different things among us. in order to make sure that things get done. But in order to do that, the information has to be assimilated so that everybody knows what's going on and everybody know what their responsibility is toward having that done. But, you know, first of all, the information has to get to the commission, and then it has to be distributed among the commissioners, so the commissioners, so that we know about it, so we can get it done. But I agree. I mean, we've already made known that we wanted to. I think we're all in agreement that we were going to establish that department. And as far as my thinking was that we're already in the process of drawing up what we need on that. We're moving in that direction. If we're not, we should be, because we're getting ready to spend a lot of money, and we're talking about stretching that money. And one of the ways of stretching that money is going to be through grants, and we're going to have a grant writing department, not just a grant write one person. It's going to have to be an area that's responsible for doing that. And we need to draw plans on what it's going to look like, who it's going to report to, what's going to be those responsibilities. I think that should be already in the works. We agreed on that, and what we're going to do about the jail and that work. Somebody should be working on a plan to bring it to us in terms of that. I agree. But the thing is that the information is not, I don't think the information is getting to the commissioner in a manner that it should be.
Doug?
Yeah, I do have, we do need to start making plans on the jail, moving in that direction to get the jail repaired. That needs to be high priority for us now.
Mr. Sankey?
Well, I agree with you in terms of the succession plans. They certainly ought to be in place. But while we look for people to fill the various positions that might become available, we can't be so stuck on the status quo. We got to look for progressive thinking people who are not, afraid to come in with new ideas. And it seems like sometimes we delay because we're trying to pick people that's not going to change the status quo. And so I am concerned about that, that we get people on the personnel roster and we start taking a look at them in a more timely manner as opposed to trying to get folks who fit the picture that we've had all the time, and that may not be what we're really looking for. And so I'm concerned about that. As far as the jail is concerned, I suppose we need to, it seems like a lot of money to be spent. I've had to talk with the sheriff. I thought maybe we should buy some land and start a farm or something with $35 million. But there seems to be a lot of money, to put into the building. But if it's necessary, I suppose we could do that. But I sure would like to start thinking about different ways to do justice involved, the justice system, and with just involved individuals. I sure would like to find different ways other than just housing them and spending a lot of money on bricks and mortar.
I don't think you can put them to work on no farm no more.
Well, Jeff, he made that clear that we couldn't do that.
They used to do that. I don't think they do that no more.
It would be nice to buy some acres and, try to do it a different way.
Well, one of the things that when we started community correction, that kept a lot of guys out of jail. And I know that Commissioner Harris served on the committee, some other people served on the committee. That's where they were started. We just have to find ways to make money off our jail, and I think the sheriff do a good job with federal inmates and all that money that he brings in. Nobody ever realizes that. That's a lot of money he brings in, just housing federal inmates.
But we were, I don't know, community correction was headed in a direction that would have really helped us as the county. In other words, they have one up in, I think it's Shelby County, where the community corrections actually handle the dips and the dumps.
Right.
You know what I mean? In other words, people that violate parole, instead of going back to prison, they go into community corrections. They have confinement areas where they can come in and either they're confined there completely, or they come in there, they sleep there, and they get up and go to work. When they get off work, they come back. And we were looking at that when I was on the board. I'm no longer on the board, so I don't know what they're looking at now, but that would be a way to ease some of the pressure off of the jails. But the thing about the jail up there, we need to talk about that. That's a separate session, I think. We have, I think, quite frankly, we have too much capacity up there. You know, and as long as we have it, we're going to have to keep it maintained. We're going to have to keep it up. If you don't do nothing to it, it'll rust out and deteriorate, and we just have nothing. But we need to really look at it and fix whatever needs to be fixed, but to make sure our capacity is right.
Ron, I know we didn't talk about the time star. You want to go back to the time star, or whatever you want to say?
No, I guess we have two solutions. Either continue to begin on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. and do informal from 9 to 10:30, and then start the formal at 10:30, or, I mean, Doug likes starting at 8:30. He might be on an island. Anybody else?
Start at 8:30.
I know, and it took me 6 years to get it to 9. Or we could do, you know, what we used to do is have the work session and the formal session, then it was kind of assumed we would go back into work session mode if we need it, and we often did need it. So we could leave it as it is and just know that we're gonna stay and finish the work session after the formal, or give a few more minutes for the.
At 8 o'clock, he's on the iceberg. So
Look here, let me tell you something. I know I'm up here with two people that love the 9:30, that's Dan and Ronald.
Yeah.
So
9.
I can go along with the 9 to 10:30,
Yeah.
and then, start the meeting at 10:30. I can go along
I
with
mean, that gives us
everybody.
another 30 minutes to get.
Yeah.
We usually run about 15 minutes,
Yeah.
15 to 20 minutes over. And that'll cover it and give us a break.
Yeah, is there some type of rule that say we have to finish at a certain time? Is
Our
that-
rule, we make it a rule.
Oh, okay, well, I don't see anything wrong.
I mean, but you
Staying
have
as
to-
long as we
you
have to. Oh, 9 o'clock start time is
Determine it,
perfect.
They have to advertise it,
Yeah,
but we can make the meeting time.
yeah.
So do you like the 9 to 10:30,
Yes, that's ideal.
and then formal
What you
session
think?
at
We can stay as
10:30?
long as we want to, just don't get here before 9.
Well, we have to formally announce what time our meeting
that's
begins.
okay.
Is why there has to be a set time.
Have to
Then, yeah, we can
advertise.
stay we can stay all day. Don't y'all want to? But yeah, we just have to have established times.
Yeah.
So 9 until
9
10:30.
to 10:30 for the work session, 10:30, formal session starting at 10:30.
That's fine with me.
Okay.
And we'll
Last
announce
thing,
that change.
No reflection on any one person or any two people. This new system we got here, what happens if, when Hannah's gone, Tammy's not here? What happens? What's the backup plan?
We have other people trained to,
Well, when you're training people, sometimes it can be good, sometimes you let them do it while the other people are here. And all I've seen is the same people doing the same thing. And, the other people, I like to see who you got trained and how well they work on it. So when are they being trained? When we're not in a meeting?
yes.
Come on, we need to be in a meeting, so we see what's going on.
We'll show you at the next meeting.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Okay, anybody else got anything else? I guess a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
I don't see or hear any.
Yeah.
Who gonna move?